Fellas, first we're gonna go to Burkina Faso. Burkina Faso, you remember that country? Yes, Ibrahim Traoré, that's the guy. Burkina Faso is doing amazing things right now. They're reintegrating military personnel that got injured in war into agriculture. That is an absolutely amazing thing to do. We need to find out about this. Then we're going to Zimbabwe. Here's Zimbabwe on the map. As you can see, Zimbabwe has received help from the EAU. Yes, Dubai has sent help to Zimbabwe in medical equipment in helping Zimbabwe healthcare that's really struggling right now. This perhaps will allow Zimbabweans not to run to South Africa for help, and I think we need to find out about this. What's up, everybody? I hope you're doing good. It's a beautiful day. Thank you very much for stopping by. You are appreciated. Okay, let's not waste time. We're going straight to Burkina Faso. Burkina Faso is a brand new initiative. The initiative is simple. It's about training former soldiers, injured soldiers, and members of the Defense Security Force in receiving training in agriculture, small ruminant, farming, poultry production, and agricultural business management. Congratulations. This is amazing. I mean, it's very simple. The country is right here, as you know. You know the context. The context is simple. The country is at war. Why is Burkina Faso at war right now? There are terrorists. Who are these terrorists? Well, Mali, this is country here, said these terrorists are sponsored by the French. Is this true or not? We don't know. However, Burkina Faso, same as Mali and Niger, were colonized by the French for the longest time. But for many, many years, France kept the military personnel stationed in these countries. Why is this, you're asking yourself? Well, France colonized them and gave them independence in the 1960s. The agreement was simple. We're going to liberate you, but in one condition. We're going to keep our soldiers on your ground, and you're going to use a currency that is printed by us. If you don't sign this agreement, you're not getting independence. Well, all these African countries signed that paper. Yeah, so the money they still use today is printed in France, talking about democracy and freedom. It's fake. However, these three countries you see here, Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, finally decided we're not going to do this anymore. We can't stand for this anymore. The French soldiers that are stationed in our countries need to leave because they've been here for so long. But since they're here, there's never peace. Why? Because they are terrorists. Where do these terrorists come from? Well, Mali says terrorists are sponsored by France in the objective of creating mayhem so France can offer help. It's basically, I'm going to light up fire in your house and say to you, you want to hire my services because we can extinguish your fire. Now, these countries were very upset because it felt like France, being such a strong, powerful country militarily, how are they struggling to terminate these terrorists that are not armed at all? And as the years go, these terrorists seem to be cleverer. They have much better equipment. Now, they have drones now. They can see where you are. They can spot you and bombard you very easily. Where did they get the equipment? So they say, something is fishy here. The French people need to go. And they left. Now, since they left, terrorism has become stronger. Now, Burkina Faso is fighting terrorism. They have two bunch of people fighting terrorism. Number one is the army, people that are trained for that. Number two are the defense security forces called the VDP. These are basically just like normal citizens like you and I. I mean, you live in a neighborhood and from time to time, some people come in your neighborhood, they take girls by force, they grape them, they unalive people, then they leave. And sometimes it happened to be your cousin or your mother. You hurt. Now, other people see that. They say, you know what? We cannot do this anymore because by the time these people come here, the army is not present. We are suffering from this. How can we resolve this? Let's find a solution. As a community, let's create this force that we call the VDP. These are civilians that are trained militarily. In case the enemy comes, even if the army is not present, we can fight them off. These are called the VDPs. Now, what has Burkina Faso done? You know, in most cases, when some of these people get hurt and injured at war, they are meaningless to the society. Now, instead of them being meaningless, now they've created a program to reintegrate these people into agricultural programs where they can be beneficial to the country. Pigama coffee again. Congratulations. So this is not limited to military. This is also the people that sacrifice the youth that have said, I'm not going to school anymore. I need to fight for my country, fight for my people. If you get injured, you're going to get integrated into agriculture, whether it's small ruminant, farming, poultry production, or agricultural business management. It matters because it helps reduce national food needs while empowering veterans. So basically, people get food, from people that are active, and it empowers these soldiers that fought for the country but now are disabled into feeling proud because when you offer to your country foods and stuff, you feel proud of yourself. It changes the image of the armed force from a militarized role to a productive and civic role. So now people don't perceive soldiers as, just killers. They're also producers. They are beneficial to the country in different terms. It offers a model of agro-rehabilitation for states facing internal conflict and food crisis. So Burkina Faso becomes a model to many other African countries that don't know what to do with this. I mean, I'll give you a very simple example, okay? There's this country right here named the DRC. It's a Democratic Republic of Congo. Next to it is another Congo, as you can see on the map. I know there's a lot of confusion. There are two Congos. There's the Democratic Republic of Congo and Congo. They used to be the same people many years ago until white people came into Africa and said, you know what, let's chop these small land into countries. I mean, Africa was just a big land with no countries. No countries existed before 1884. I'm sure you know, but you don't like hearing that. When they came, they said, okay, let's create countries. Why were countries created? Because Europeans said, we have fought each other so much. Let's go to Africa and take gold, diamond, timber, and more. They are just savages down there, but let's not unalive one another. Why would they say that? Well, simply because in history, they've unalived each other so bad in Europe many times. Therefore, they did not want to replicate that in Africa. Now, what's the best way to do it? Let's go to Africa and create maps. Just draw on the board, say this is yours, this is his, and everybody take a chunk, so we don't have to cut throats one another over these bunch of savages in Africa. That's how they created. And these are the land that the British took. They took Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and many more. The French took these lands here, as you can see. We have Ivory Coast, Benin, Togo, and more. The Portuguese took these lands, so forth and so forth. Now, let's get back on track. This is Congo, okay? There are two Congos, Democratic Republic of Congo and Congo. Now, in Democratic Republic of Congo, this is a country that's been through so much havoc for the past 30 years. People talk about 16 million people unalive. Now, unfortunately, the problem over there is what? Some of the problems still is when the soldiers get to war and they are hurt, when they come back, they are useless to society. So there's no other way to reintegrate them into society. And sometimes when they're unalived into the war fighting enemies, their families are left out. I mean, the wives, the children, they're left to themselves. And some soldiers I saw an interview of a soldier saying, how do I get encouraged when I see my friend's wife prostituting herself so she can make a living for the children? It doesn't encourage me because government doesn't seem to look after these people after they got. Unlike Burkina Faso, where if you're unalive at war, the government will look after your family. I think that's a strong incentive for somebody to want to go fight for their country. Now, next thing, I don't know if you're going to be happy about this. This is still Burkina Faso. Burkina Faso has dissolved the Country Independent Electoral Commission. Country's Independent Electoral Commission has been dissolved. Okay, Electoral Commission is basically those people that come to oversee an election, make sure that it is clear, there's no treachery, there's no funny things. They are called Independent Electoral Commission. So most countries do utilize these people, especially in Africa, in order to make sure or to ensure that the elections were actually fair and clear. The country passed a law late Wednesday abolishing Independent National Electoral Commission, which is responsible for organizing elections, citing its high cost. So they say it costs them a lot of money to have this Electoral Commission, overseeing elections. Now, what do they want to do? They want to do it themselves. Ministry of Interior. Now, according to officials, the decision is meant to cut public spending, with the commission budget estimated at approximately $870,000. The government also cited the need to reclaim national sovereignty and reduce foreign influence over electoral process. So let's break that down. They say expenditure $870,000 that goes to this commission. Number two, they say they want to reclaim national sovereignty. It means this electoral commission is not very much national. Okay, so it says external influence. We're going to find out about that. Now, who are these people? What is this electoral commission? Okay, who forms this electoral commission? There are political parties that are part of this. There are civil society, religious groups, and legal professionals. These are Burkinabe people. They are independent, so not affiliated to the government. They are there to count the ballots, make sure everything is correct. Now, why would the government want to suppress those people if it's not tyranny or undemocratic ideas that you have? You're asking yourself. I mean, we're just trying to be fair. I mean, we cannot be supporters just because we like Ibrahim Traore and say, okay, everything that they're doing is correct. We need to start questioning, like, why would somebody say, okay, we are going to abolish this electoral commission that makes sure there's transparency unless they have something to hide? Or maybe there's some areas of things that we don't see. Let's try to dive into this. Now, it is known that this electoral commission is receiving funds and technical assistance from international partners, the European Union, France, and sometimes the US. So you have an independent commission that ensure that you have transparent election. They are the people, international community will ask, was the election transparent? Yes or no. But these people are funded by the European Union, by international organization, by France, and by America. So Burkina Faso say, no, why would this international commission funded by foreign nations come and oversee our elections? And they cost us money, by the way. I mean, even though they're funded by all these other countries, we still allocate $870,000 to them. We could be using that to do something positive, to better the lives of orphans, to create schools or something like that. Now, my question to you is this: is that a reason justifiable? Or do you think it's just an excuse from Ibrahim Traore trying to stay for a longer time? Now, what happens? By abolishing this commission, this gets Ibrahim Traore to stay in power for more years without going through elections. Because now the election will be overseen by the interior minister that is under Ibrahim Traore. You with me? Is this independence or is this another form of tyranny and dictatorship? Now, the question that follows is this one. If it is dictatorship, are all dictatorship bad for the country? Do you remember Gaddafi? His system was not democratic. It was dictatorship. Matter of fact, Ibrahim Traore said we are not in a democracy. Watch this.
Let's stay focused. And if we need to say it loud and clear here, we are not in a democracy. We are indeed in a revolution, progressive, popular.
So he said we're not a democracy. We're still trying to find each other. This is not a democracy. Remember, with Libya, they still had a beautiful life without democracy. They had money every month. They got a portion of every sale the government done of petrol because they had a lot of oil. Every time the government sold oil, everybody got a percentage. Hospitals were for free. Food was significant. You almost paid nothing for petrol. If you were sick, you want to go overseas to get treated for a very difficult disease, the country looked after you and paid for your trips. It paid for your trip, paid for your medication, paid for your family member that's going to accompany you, whether you go to China, Switzerland, or America for treatment. But that was not a democracy. I mean, Western nations want to make us believe that the only thing that functions is democracy, okay? But that's not truth because Libya showed us that even though it wasn't a democracy, it wasn't an electoral system, they were happy people. I mean, look at Libya before democracy. Now look at Libya after democracy. Look at the difference. Libya before democracy, look how beautiful it was. Look at after democracy. So is this a good thing for Burkina Faso or not? I mean, they're doing good things for the people that are broken, that are hurt and stuff. But is this a bad signal, perhaps, from Ibrahim Traore? Let me know about that. Now we're going to Zimbabwe. Yes, fellas, Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe has received equipment worth $700,000 from EAU. Yes, bolstering the country emergency care capabilities and saving lives nationwide. Congratulations, Zimbabwe. Yeah, so they've received equipment from Dubai, if you prefer, to help them in healthcare and bolstering the capacity to emergency care.
Under the visionary leadership of His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, the UAE countries to demonstrate a strong global commitment to humanitarian assistance, sustainable development and public health. Zimbabwe is honored to be a beneficiary of this noble vision.
Let me put it this way for you. I mean, Zimbabwe's health system is on the gutter. Matter of fact, Zimbabwe's got some of the most cleverest Africans you can think about. I mean, these guys go to school. They really work hard for that. They have some of the best doctors and nurses. But unfortunately, they cannot stay in the country because there is no money. They have to find a way out. Some go to the UK if they get an opportunity. Some try to go to South Africa, even though they're not very much liked in South Africa. It's very difficult for Zimbabweans. A lot of Zimbabweans have gone to South Africa. Now, why has this occurred? Because Zimbabweans refuse the presence of white people in the country. Yes, with Robert Mugabe, Zimbabweans kicked away all white people that lived in the country. And you're probably asking yourself a question, how did white people get to Zimbabwe? Well, these white people are descendants of the British. Remember, we spoke about colonialism when they came to Africa. When they came to Africa, everybody took a land. Zimbabwe was part of the land that was taken by the British. They colonized the land, they looted the land, they occupied the land. But they stayed. Some of them died, but they made children and they stayed. But if you looked at the society of Zimbabwe, the majority of lands belonged to the white. They ran the economy of the country. They were into agriculture and many other things. Now, the president of Zimbabwe back then, Robert Mugabe, wanted to balance. He wanted to take some of the land from white people and give black people, because he said you cannot be an owner of a country if you don't own the land. But the majority of white people in Zimbabwe did not want to do that. Well, Robert Mugabe was a very pressure kind of guy. He put a lot of pressure on them and kicked them away. They were brutalized. Many white people left. They were hurt. Many crossed to South Africa, looking for safety. And South African white people accepted those white Zimbabweans, giving them lands to continue working into agriculture. Some went into Zambia. But after doing that, the European Union and America and the British sanctioned Zimbabwe in a way that they couldn't not trade. They kicked them out of SWIFT system. The SWIFT system is what allows you and enables you to send money to your brother in your country if you live abroad, to your auntie, in a village or in a city. The SWIFT system is what enables banks to communicate with each other. Without the SWIFT system, if you want to send money to somebody, you need to go physically to Japan and make a payment, a purchase of whatever you're looking for. SWIFT system is what allows you to make a purchase on Temu, ordering clothes, you do whatever you call that thing. Yeah, so that's the situation with Zimbabwe. And right now, they're still living in difficulties. Even though that president is dead, Robert Mugabe, long time ago, they're still under many sanctions. That's the situation of Zimbabwe. That's what it is, fellas. Let me know how you feel about this. Burkina Faso doing great things, helping all these people that have fought the war. They've sacrificed their life for the country and for the nation. When they get hurt, they get helped, they get reestablished, and they give them opportunities to work into agriculture. Instead of letting them sit and rot on chairs and being useless to the society, they're helping them reintegrate the society. They are also helping orphans and widows whose husbands and fathers die at war for them. Now, we have a big question about Ibrahim Traore. Is he an honest person? Because we see the fact that he has kicked away this organization that oversees election, make sure it is transparent. Is this a move by him to control what's going to happen next so he can stay in power forever? Let me just remind you here that some people come with good ideas and later on, the ideas may change. Like many African presidents, they sometimes want to do good things until somebody says to them, hey, this is nice, you don't want to leave this. Is this the case of Ibrahim Traore, or is he really fighting for sovereignty by saying that these organizations are sponsored by some external powers and we cannot control them? Let's rather our own country control our election. Zimbabwe has received help, 800,000 worth of help into emergency services and healthcare, helping them combat and be strong when it comes to those type of difficulties. Is this a good thing or not? Is this another way to sell your soul to a foreigner again? You know, why is Africa always begging? Is this begging, or let's just say, okay, that's okay because Zimbabwe needs it? Let me know how you feel about this. It was a great pleasure. A Senegalese government official tried to push a law to ban bleaching, skin bleaching, and fake hair in Senegal. Well, that didn't last very long. The pushback was emphatic. They almost crushed his car. Wig ban only lasted a day in Senegal theater after massive backlash. Yes. So, in Senegal, here's Senegal. Beautiful place, lovely people. Okay. Now, a representative of the government or a public representative trying to push a law so they could ban skin bleaching and weave use, you know, this fake hair and all that stuff in a specific establishment, not in the entire country, in a specific establishment. I mean, talk about culture. We're going to find out about this. Now, an internal memo was stamped by the National Culture Ministry and issued on Monday by Serine Fall Gay. This is the guy, Serine Fall Gay. His goal was to move and promote Pan-African values and protect the institution's cultural image. He wants to promote Pan-African values by banning bleaching product and fake wigs for women. But critics accuse Gay of policing women's body under the guise of cultural pride, and the ban was reversed the following day. They say he's trying to police women's body, you know, because he said don't use bleaching stuff on your skin because it's unacceptable. It doesn't represent you well. Now, who is this man? You probably ask yourself. Serine Fall Gay is a Director General of Grand Theatre National in Dakar. The Grand Theatre National, inaugurated on 15 April 2001, is located in Dakar and is considered one of the most impressive architectural landmarks in West Africa. It has a seating capacity of approximately 1,800 spectators, includes 206 rooms for artists. Constructed through Sino-Senegalese cooperation, obviously you need the Chinese to build something important in Africa. It was officially named Doudou Ndiaye Coumba Rose in honor of a legendary Senegalese drummer and cultural icon who passed away in August 2015. So we together, okay? So this is a big theater, the biggest in West Africa, the most emphatic architectural theater in Africa. The theater serves as the largest performing art venue in West Africa. So art venue in West Africa with the mission to promote African and global theatrical art, support the African diaspora and host international cultural exchange. So this is a place where you expose your art, the African art. And this person is a director of this theater. Now, he said, all the personnel working here, everybody exhibiting or doing their operation here should stop using bleach, okay? Skin bleach and fake hair. Because look at this place. It's about Africa, authentic Africa, okay? We understand you want to be pretty and do all that stuff. That's fine. But when you hear you work here, you should exhibit Africa in your skin, in your eyes, in your hair, in your everything. They say he's trying to control women. He's trying to police feminism. And Senegal has much bigger problems than that. Now, he says, why don't you get another job to some place? I mean, be a telepreneur, call people on the phone, be a software developer. Don't come work in a theatrical African cultural place looking like a white, fake, bleached human being. Does it make sense or not? Now, people got very triggered. We live in a society where when you talk about something that's very important like that, people will find excuses elsewhere, saying you're trying to control and police women. What does that have to do with policing women? We're talking about culture. I mean, this is a company that sells African culture, African tradition, African ways. But you look like a Filipino woman. Does it make sense? It doesn't make sense. Well, let's look into data. A survey in Senegal across major Senegalese cities reported 59.2% overall prevalence of cosmetic skin bleaching among women between age 15 to 55. 59% of women between 15 and 55 bleach or have bleached in their life. Is that a problem or not? 59.2%. This is not me. This is you go check and you have internet. You can double check that. It's a lot. Why do people bleach? Because people believe the whiter you look, the better you look. And it's very sad. I mean, you see in many African countries, people say to you, when you come back from Europe or from America, they say, your skin tone has changed. You look like coffee. That's what they say to you. People never compliment you looking dark and beautiful. Africans in general, they say, you look so nice and chocolate. It's crazy. People even discriminate other Africans because they look dark. They say, you're not from here because you look dark. It's crazy stuff. Look at these Sudanese. Look at this beautiful woman. Are these women ugly? I mean, these people want to be like this one, but they don't want to be like this one. It shows you the inferiority complex that many Africans have. They think everything that's beautiful must be white or must come from white people or must resemble white. And this is a long-term thing. I know the American history and the Caribbeans tell you that back in time, the closer you looked to white, the creamier you look, the better you were treated by the master. The creamier you looked, the better you had opportunities and chances to get a job. Well, people may think it's only happened abroad in the Caribbean and America. Well, in Africa, people auto-do that themselves. It's not because you expect anybody to give you a job. Just because you get from your peers praise for looking chocolate. It's crazy stuff. Do you know how much money all these companies that make skin bleaching colors make? And they're stationed in India and China. It's crazy stuff, my brother. Repeat, crazy stuff. Yeah. So people got very angry, stood up against this brave man. I'm going to call him brave. I don't care how you feel. Serigne Faye Gueye. They stood against him and the government was forced to reverse the law. Yeah, he came up with the rule. The government said no. The Ministry of Culture said no. We're not going to apply that rule. Within 24 hours and under the government pressure, the directive was rescinded. The Ministry of Culture intervened and the memo was formally withdrawn due to lack of legal basis and infringements on workers' rights. Lack of legal basis. Because you say you must look like Africans since you're selling African culture. Crazy. And they say it's an infringement on workers' rights. It's my right to bleach my skin so I can look like Michael Jackson. Peace. So you mustn't don't disrespect the big man. Now, there are many African countries that have done tremendous work in trying to pull Africans back into their culture, to embrace who you truly are. Like I always say, how can somebody love you if they don't love their own hair? Please, come on. Somebody hate their own hair so much, you think they can love another human being? Are you crazy? Why are you shocked that in this community people hate each other so much? You don't want to see your next person, the peer, do great in life. I mean, Africans and black people in general, they're happy to see you do good, but just don't do better than them. If you do good, it's fine. Oh, yeah. If they're doing better than you, they go like, good. But as soon as you do better, they go like, I think he's involved in politics now. And I think he's doing some dodgy stuff here. Or maybe it's witchcraft, it's juju. That's how they are. How can you love your peers if you hate your hair? I mean, there's one thing wearing hair because it's fun. There's another thing, you cannot get outside of the house because your hair is not fake hair. That's a mental disease. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. There are beautiful women with natural hair. Look at that. Look how natural this is. Look at this one. Well, I was saying, there are countries in Africa that ban skin bleaching and stuff like that. There's Rwanda, South Africa, Kenya, Cote d'Ivoire, Ghana, South Sudan. However, out of all these countries who have officially or close to officially banned the use of lightening skin, whatever product, Rwanda is the only one that's adamant, that's very serious about it. Other countries, you can, they talk about it, but they don't really apply it. They can see it. They can even arrest people that are selling it. But if you come and give some money, the police give you back your product. Rwanda, if they find you selling products that are skin lightening, you're going to have problems. If you don't go to jail, you're going to pay a big fine. Is this controlling? I don't know. How do you fight white people saying, no, we want independence, we want freedom, but you still use things to look like them? Have some level of shame. Come on. Colonialism, freedom, apartheid, but you still want to bleach your face, look like them, at least look close. Come on, man. You choose one or the other, Now, we know that Burkina Faso also did a tremendous job very lately trying to push young girls to come to school with natural hair. A lot of people made noise saying that why is Burkina Faso controlling? You need to shape kids' mentality when they're still children. You need to learn to love yourself. I mean, putting fake hair is like somebody going to do go change your nose. Why do you change your nose? Don't change your nose. It's your nose. It's who you are. You must love it. Why do you change your lips? Your thick lips. Oh, hi. Okay, you can do it, but don't come work in cultural environment. Don't come and work in a theater selling African culture because you don't represent well. You don't come and work in sectors that talk about Africa because you're not one of us. I'm sorry. Now, there's another president of Zaire. You know, Zaire is this country. You call it now Democratic Republic of Congo. I feel like when it was still called Zaire, it was quite a powerful country. You know, there was a lot of respect for Zaireans. You know, most of Africans wanted to be like Zaireans. Good dancers, strong, well-dressed. But these ones here, I don't know. In Zaire, there was a president named Mobutu. Mobutu came in power. When he came in power, most of Zairians had white people names. They were called Jean-Luc Chrysostome. That's the name of a black man. Jean-Luc Chrysostome. Robert Koumenaker. Those are the names of black people, imagine. Giscard Lebrondener. Those were the name of the black people in Zaire. He came to power and said, you need to regain your authenticity. You need to go to your village, find your great-great-great-father's name. That's what you're going to apply to your family.
Donc, moi, voyez-vous, je suis zaïrois, africain, bantou. Comment voulez-vous que je puisse porter un nom juif? Moi qui ne suis pas juif. Connaissez-vous un seul juif au monde qui porte un nom zaïrois? Et pourquoi moi? Croyez-vous vraiment que ce serait intelligent, pensable de la part d'une jeune fille de mon pays de porter le prénom de Chantal, de Marie-France, de Marie-Flore? Ça veut dire quoi?
He said it would make no sense. I've never seen a Jewish person being called Mukendi or Kambamba or Musungu or Rukenga or Nomsa or Nomftando or Nomfundo or Nomkita. Anyway, you know what I mean? Oh, you'll never see that. Why are you taking the names? Why are you taking the names? It's because of him that now you see Congolese people with name Mumbanga, Ngambunda, Mbengendi Mbombo, Mbandangi Deja. Those are the names like Tam Tam. If you don't lead Ndungumba Ngenge, Mbandambi Mbombo. It's not the Congolese. Kofi Olomide. Okay, anyway, not that. Now, history has taught us a lot of lessons, brothers, okay? Now, Tignolo is something that happened a long, long time ago. That was in Louisiana, 1786, a long time ago, brother. The Tignolo in 1976, Spanish colonial governor Esteban Rodriguez Miro enacted the Tignon law in Louisiana, forcing all black and mixed race women, whether enslaved or free, to cover their hair with Tignon head cuffs. So he forced black women to cover their hair, don't show your natural hair in public. This was meant to mark them as inferior, to white women, to curb their fashion and social standing compared to white women. This government said black people should cover their hair. This was in Louisiana in 1786. He said to all black women should cover their hair because back in time, we're using grease, like cow grease to nurture their natural hair. They were looking too pretty. And in order to diminish them a little bit, to show that they were inferior, so they don't compare to white women, he forced all black women to use a scarf on their hair. Now, black women, ingenious they were, used brilliant, colorful, luxurious-looking scarves to cover their hair. They looked even prettier with those scarves until they banned them from using those scarves. You know what I mean? Although the intention was oppressive, black women subtly reclaimed the tignon by using vibrant fabrics, jewelry, ribbons, and intricate styling, turning the imposed accessory into a symbol of personal style and cultural resistance. You see, the love of who you are, it's amazing. Black women are amazing. I don't get this. Now, let's talk about the fake hair. Do you understand that the United States of America spend about $1.1 billion yearly in just buying fake hair from the Filipinos? Yeah, you send money to Philippines and India where they remove the hair from the dead people. You know that? Sometimes people in some of these temples will go because they want their sins forgiven by their God. As a sacrifice, they cut their hair and they take that hair to put in a machine, they wash it, they send it to you. Then your life doesn't go straight and you wonder why you have 17 children from 16 fathers. I'm sorry. You're gonna not like me today, but I'm going to tell you the truth. And I understand why people are triggered. Like, you are amazing human beings. It's fine if you want to put it on Monday or on Thursday, on Saturday. But this should not define who you are. You shouldn't be feeling bad. Like you can't get outside because you don't have your fake hair and your skin is not bleached. My sister, come on, man. African women are spending $800 million a year on fake hair. Come on. Now, let me tell you a good story so we can drop, okay? Because I know you like stories. There's a lady in the 1970s named Malba Tolliver. She was a big TV personality. personality, great woman, beautiful African woman, African American. Now, back in time, she was a TV host. You know, she had so much charisma, so much beauty. She was reporting from the White House on President Richard Nixon's daughter's wedding. President Nixon, this is the guy, his daughter's wedding. This lady, Malba Tolliver, was supposed to be the host. They told her, you cannot do this with your hair. She was one of the only black women to use their natural hair on TV. They said you have to either soften it or wear fake hair. She refused. She said, I am doing this. She refused. Okay? She refused to do this. 1971. Refused to do it. Will you refuse? You will not refuse. White House, me, I can't refuse. You, that's how you are. She refused. She was a symbol and later on respected for that. She's not the only one to do such thing. Another black personality, Noble Jones, former news anchor at WJTV in Jackson, Mississippi. In 2018, she was reportedly fired after filing complaints about workplace discrimination, including being pressured to straighten her hair to meet station standard. She had previously been given permission to stop straightening her hair after the birth of her son, but later she was told she needed to continue doing it. Your son is born, now you need to straighten your hair. If you don't do that, she filed a complaint, but she was fired. Let me know how you feel about this. Always a pleasure. God bless. Are Africans ready for democracy? Are Africans ready for democracy? We all talk about we want to rule ourselves. We're tired of the colonialists and their rhetorics. Are we ready for democracy? Democracy means respect. Democracy means consideration of the peoples. Democracy means consideration of other people. Democracy means I'm thinking red is better than white. You thinking white is better than red. Well, I'm going to respect you and we're going to continue. We're not going to start fighting each other and killing one another. There's one thing I've noticed about Africans and black people in general. You can say 100 things that they like, they agree on. They will clap their hand for you. But if you say one thing they don't agree with, they will forget every good thing you've said in the past. Let me repeat myself. Black people in general, you may do 100 things that are positive to them. They will clap their hand for you. Oh, we appreciate you. We like you. You're such a good guy, so smart. Until you say something, one thing they do not agree with. Then they question everything you stand for. Other people know how to, okay, I think you like red, I like white. I don't agree with you, but I'm still standing by your side because, I'm considering the majority of things we agree upon. We cannot separate ourselves and part ways just because you say something I don't agree with. That is something we need to learn, fellas. We are in Cameroon. It's Cameroon. Okay? I have never been there, so I cannot say beautiful place, lovely people. I'm very authentic, I tell you the truth. So Cameroonian President Paul Biya has reshuffled the military. Okay, the head of military, all the commanders, all the significant people that in the military have been reshuffled. He's moving people here, moving people there. Some of them have been upgraded, in the military, and some of them have been moved. You're asking yourself, why? Why is he doing this? Well, he's doing this because he's planning to represent himself once more as a president candidate of the elections. Cameroonian President Paul Biya undertook a significant reshuffle of the country's top military leadership in mid-July 2025. Just 2 days after formally announcing his candidacy for the 8th term in October 12. 8th term, my brother. You want to be president for 8 times. Like 8 times because he feels like Cameroon, look at Cameroon here, look at all these people. Amongst all these people, only him is capable of running the country. For the 8th time. And I ask myself, who are the problem of Africa? Let me continue first before we bash each other here. Paul Biya issued a series of decrees appointing new chiefs of staff for infantry, air force, the navy, and promoting 8 brigadier generals to major generals. So basically what he's done is what? He has reshuffled the entire army. So all the leaders, the commanders, on the ground, in the air, in the navy, everybody been reshuffled. Special security, reshuffled everybody. Because he wants to make sure that when he runs for presidency again, he's got the total support of the army. Obviously, when you run for president and you feel like you're going to be contested, you need to make sure that the army is behind you. How do you do it? Well, you reshuffle. You make some of the people that were lower grade, higher grade. You propose them higher salaries. You issue them authority so they can be faithful and loyal to you. Well, how old is the Cameroonian president? He's 92 years old. Yes, the man is 92 years old, as you can see. In many instances, there was a specific video I watched of him where he didn't really know where he was. He was in the stage and they were telling him, oh, now you need to stand up.
Totally unaware of what is happening around him. He does not even know his aides keep explaining what he needs to do and telling him how important the event is. And he does not even know. He just keeps fiddling with the paper in front of him and passing the gas. This is the sad reality of the kind of presidents that we have running most African countries.
Les ministres qui sont là. Le président Kagame a parlé, il est parti, introduit. Le monsieur vous a introduit. Il y avait un monsieur de vous qui vous a introduit.
Je dois parler maintenant.
That's the president of Cameroon. I know you've probably have met a Cameroonian. Do you know soccer? Do you play soccer? Roger Miller, yeah, that's a Cameroon. Francis Ngannou, the MMA fighter, that's a Cameroonian. So look at this, fellas. On July 13th, 2025, B officially declared his candidacy for the 8th presidential term. 8 times, brother. 8 times, and you're talking about Europeans being the oppressors. I don't know about that. I'm always going to tell you the truth. I'm never going to sugarcoat. I'll tell you the truth. You're not necessarily nice people. I'm sorry. And I know this is rubbing you the wrong way. You are not. Look how you treat each other. That's what I'm saying to you. July 16, he started reshuffling senior military leadership. Why? To make sure he stays president. Why would you do that? If you want to give everybody a fair share to the power. Why would you do that? Why would you reshuffle if you're probably leaving? Now, my question is this. This is not necessary. I mean, this man has been president for 42 years. 42 years. And some areas of Cameroon doesn't even have water. Okay, it's a Russian church that came to some areas of Cameroon to allow them to get water underground. What do you call it? From a well, to build a well for a country. And in Cameroon, you can't talk negative about the president. You know, you can't do that. You talk about democracy. In Cameroon, lawyers are beaten up for talking about the president. Yes. Military beats lawyers up. Imagine, so if they can beat a lawyer up, how about you, a citizen? And you're talking about colonialism. What's colonialism compared to this? Are we ready? Are African people ready for freedom? Are African people ready for what they're asking for? I'm asking a big question. I mean, let's just go back to history. Look at Sudan. Sudan, north was Arabs, south with black people. They say you're mistreating us, as black people. Your region is developed, ours is underdeveloped. You don't look after us. How about we cut the country in 2 parts so we can have our own country? They went through war. They fought. They say, okay, they're unaliving us. We want our own country. Well, their wish was granted. They had their own country. What are they doing right now? What are the black Sudanese people doing right now? They're unaliving each other. Bad. 400,000 people gone because they're fighting over power. Is the problem really people from different race? I'm just asking. Is the problem really people from different race? I mean, it's very easy to say Americans, white people are shooting our brothers, our black Americans over there. It's very easy to say there's racism all over Europe and stuff. How do you treat each other? That's what I'm saying. Lawyers are beaten up. There's a singer in Cameroon who made a song, saying we are tired, we want freedom. I mean, this is like their version of Jay-Z. Like, it was that big. They beat him up so bad by security forces. He started reminding them. He says, listen, have you forgotten me? I made a song for the president praising his glory for many times. Why are you treating me this way? They almost killed that man. Are Africans ready? I'm just asking. Now, does this mean it's the Cameroonian president himself that wants to stay president? Well, not necessarily. Because in some cases, it's not even the president that wants to stay president. In some cases, it's family members that tell him, listen, you've been here for 40 years. This is the only life we know. Being praised, driving in big cars, traveling when we want. Why do you want to take that away from us? Who's got a gun on your head? Who's going to resist you? Please don't do that. Yes. Sometimes it's external people that say, listen, president, we still need you. Sometimes African people come into power with good mentality, good ideas, actually wanting to make the country better until they meet people that are appointed in office. Those are the people that want to loot the country because they want to live high life, building big villas, have big houses and travel. They don't want to take that away. It's like they become addicted to power. It's not about the people, it's about themselves. And I'm 100%, maybe not 100% sure, I'm sure this president was pushed by somebody. 92 years old, he's been in power since 1982. And he's still going. He's 92. He's going to stay for another 7 years as president. Let me know how you feel about this reshuffling of the army, changing people here and there with the goal, like many experts say, is to try to gain the loyalty of the army. Obviously, when somebody pushes you in a position where you become a commander-in-chief of some military section in the army, or they move you, upgrade you, you will stay faithful and loyal, right? 92 years old, want to be president again for the 8th time because he feels like Cameroon has nobody smart enough to run the country. You let me know how you feel about that. God bless.